Okay. So everybody connect to your own server. So what we're gonna do today is today's topic is user administration. Okay, so last week I already told you what a root user is. If you are a root user, you are super user and you have full access to it. Root user cannot be renamed. Never share a password with anybody. Don't put password in email and all that here. So that is information you should have. And I think this part, I'm going to show this part again. Actually, I already started the administration part. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is everybody connect to your own first server. Everybody know your own server, right? Save it and put it down somewhere, okay? I need to figure out what my server is myself. In fact, I'll put this copy in there again, okay? Picture. Okay, look at the picture I put it now in the chat and then connect to your first server. So my own server is, I'm going to do SSH. So I have all my certificates in place here. So when I'm doing the SSH, I should be able to connect without the server asking me for the password here. So what I'm going to do is SSH 10.1.10.17 and hit enter. So I'm in there. So everybody make sure whenever you are connecting, the host name, the name of the server is, you have defined it. I don't care what you name it, but for the moment, name something like this. Your name 01@zmpt.com so that you would know which server you're connecting to. Okay, because it's like everybody has a name and everybody have a social security number, right? So it's easier to remember the name rather than somebody's social security number or phone number. You know, when I dial my friend Abdul Baki, I tell him I dial his number. I don't even know his number. I don't remember his number for a while. I dial his number, name, and it will dial his number. Okay, so give it a name. Now, we have only 2 servers here, but we are using it using the number here. Why? Because we don't have DNS set up. That is in the engineering class, but you don't have to worry about that. Just for now, use the number, and then it will have the name in here so that you know which one is you're connecting to. Okay, so now what I'll do is, what is this? My closed captioning is coming down here. I don't want that. Is this helpful, guys? This is something new. I think it updated itself. Back to... Why is it? Yeah, I don't want that coming up in my... Oh, really? There is actually a good feature that they uploaded. This is nice here. So I'm going to start the cloud recording. I used to record in the cloud here. It was horrible. Now let's see if it's going to work. They added some good features here. I don't even know when they added this. So let me go ahead and wow, I could even translate into but anyway, all right, let's focus on the class here. So what are we gonna do today is, I am the user Zafar, right? How do I know what is my username? I say who am I, and you will see, it will tell you who are you. It will give you the name, the user. Okay, I think we already talked about this who am I in the regular class, right? Okay, so now as long as you say Zafar or your name, you cannot do the user administration. The user administration is only done by the user root. Okay, so I'm gonna put a note here. Somebody joined. Who joined? So I'm gonna say user administration is only performed by root. Okay, so looks good to me. So how are you going to become root? So not everybody have a root access. I have already given you all the root access. So I'll show you how to give root access to somebody and take away the root access, okay? So I'm gonna do sudo su and a hyphen. So I'll hit enter and it's asking me for my secret password here. So I'm gonna put in my secret password. Okay, now take a closer look. I'm a root now. So okay, so this part, oh God, this is horrible. Okay, this part is sudo, and then this part is su, and a hyphen means switch to root. Okay, so let's talk about what is a sudo user. Okay, so okay, so what does sudo means? Sudo means sudo command means, this means switch user do. Switch user do. That's what it stands for. Don't ask me why is it named like that. That's how it is. You're using the switch user do. That's what it means. Sudo, the command. Okay, and su means switch. Su means switch user. And then here you got to note that hyphen means hyphen means root. Okay, when you do just the hyphen, that means you are specifying root user. Switch to root user. You are specifying root user. Okay, that's the best I could do here. This Word document is just sucking it up. Okay, then now if you do who am I, you have become the root user here. Okay, now why did you become the root user? I'll tell you. Alright, even before that, I explain you. Let's go ahead and everybody go ahead and create a username. Follow along with me. Clear. In fact, go back to as a regular user. Type exit, and then you go back as a regular user, not Zafar. You go back as your own name, and then try to add a user. User add, and I'm going to add the name of the user, Terminator, and I'll hit enter. It says permission denied. That means you are just a regular user. You're not an administrator. So you don't have enough rights. Okay. Now that this user is Zafar, he is actually have to become a root user before he could really becomes a root. So I'm going to go ahead and become a switch user. Sudo su hyphen, then I'm going to give the password for Zafar here. Then I became root here. Okay, so everybody go ahead and become root.
I got a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
So when I run the command sudo, so it doesn't ask me for password. Why is it asking you for password?
Are you typing sudo space su space hyphen, right?
Correct, yeah.
And you're already becoming a root?
The first time it did, but then after that it's not asking me for it. It just says
not asking me for it either.
Yeah, that is true though. It may or may not.
Okay.
It also becomes on the time.
Okay.
See, it didn't ask me now.
Right.
Because there is also a time factor. The system is automatically monitoring you, and if you go away for a few minutes, this will exit out of root and it will go back into Zafar mode. And even if the policy is set, even Zafar get disconnected after so long.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a very good thing and a very good question. I appreciate you stopping and asking me. Okay, please do that. When you do that, it's going to help you and it's going to help everybody. It's going to help me actually. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, since I'm root, I'm going to run that command user add. So now if you do history here, the root history is different than your own Zafar history, okay? There is pathetic. There is barely any history in here. But if you go back to Zafar and you do history, and you have a lot of history there. I mean, it's not much, but there is something there. So the history for Zafar and all other users is kept clean, separate from each other. So I'm going to go ahead and add as a root. I'm going to type user add. That's a command to add Terminator. Terminator. And hit enter. Okay. So what happened is add a user. The command is, okay, now what you're going to do is check the user. I'm going to type ID Terminator, and it will give you the group information about the user, which is Terminator. Check user information. So what is the command you type? ID Terminator. Going forward, I'm going to be highlighting the commands I'm putting in here so that you guys know. And then this is the command I use. So now what I have here is, I'm gonna bring this up here. So I have this ID here. So let me explain you what you're seeing on the screen. Okay, what you're seeing on the screen is so this part is the ID command. Okay, and this part,
I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
If I want to add user, so this is the command, right?
No, add user is the command. ID is the check the user information.
And the terminator is a command, or we can use any other name?
Any other name?
Oh, okay, thank you.
I was going to come to it. Okay, so this is the user you created. Okay, so now, so the user ID I have is, UID stands for user ID. UID equals user ID. Okay, and it has a number. So user ID is, system is automatically assigning this here 1001. Okay, and also in the user ID you seeing the name of the user is so it's possible, right? You have the name when you go and create some profile somewhere online. You have the name, and in that profile you have the ID too. This is the account number. Consider this as an account number, okay? And user ID is also the name. So terminator here is user name. Username is terminator. My handwriting is horrible here. Please forgive me about that, but it's just understanding. As long as you're understanding, I'm good. And this part is called GID. GID is group ID. GID equals to group ID. GID equals to group ID. Okay, by default, the group ID is, it automatically creates a group ID with that name here. So later on we will find out the groups you belong to and all that here, okay? So the group ID for your ID is 101. 1001. And the name of the group ID is Terminator. Name of the group is also Terminator. And this part information is the group this user belongs to. Group this user belongs to. Okay. So later on we will find out how many groups this user belongs to. Okay. Right now, which group the user belongs to? Terminator. Terminator belongs to its own group, which is Terminator. Okay, why is it the group, it says groups under it says Terminator? Because he belongs to the group ID Terminator. So automatically you already are, the user gets a user ID, and automatically the system automatically creates a group name with that ID. And the groups is just the informational here. Informational. Okay, any questions?
So now we are working in different server, like Zafar 01, right?
Yeah, I mean, you should be working in, you should have, I mean, I'm pretty sure the server you logged in from outside, from internet, you won't be able to work on that one because you don't have the full access there. The servers I gave you, you have full access there. No, you should, the one I'm working is in my own server. The one I gave you for everybody, you should connect your own. Are you doing that or no?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, I have a question too.
Yes, sir.
So like to log into our own server, why do we have to go through your server? Can we log into it directly?
That is a very good question. The server I have is the servers you are going in there are not public. I could put only one server online. From there, you're connecting to other servers here. In fact, let me go ahead and show you here. I'm going to pause the video here so that when I release the release it online, people cannot. I mean, it's possible somebody could just go in there. It is kind of working as a proxy. Yeah. So let me resume the recording here, then I'll show you what's happening here. Okay, so the recording is resumed. So what I'll do is, let me bring up my browser and go on Google. So I think this is a really good picture. So let me copy this. So what is happening here is, I'm gonna just make sure we're doing it in a real world scenario. So in fact, this part is good, I think, yeah. So what is happening here is, this is our server. What is the IP address? 71 dot. What is the IP, guys?
One second.
71.57.95.5, right?
Right.
And the name is master01 .zmpt.com. Okay, so this server is sitting behind the firewall here, and this is the internet. So from internet, you come in from the internet and you go I put a hole in the firewall. Every system has a firewall. So I'm allowing only this system to be exposed to the internet, okay? And then what I'm doing is let me grab a picture of a server. So all this server could be the virtual servers, or they'll be sitting the racks. So you're building the servers in the rack, right? Physical servers.
Right.
So all right. So this looks good to me. Or this one. So I have all these servers here, many servers. So what is happening here is now whenever you guys connect, you connect to this server here, no problem. And from there, you're connecting to your own servers here. So for example, I'm connecting here, right? Mine is 10.0.10.17. And my name is Zafar.zmpt.com. Okay, and then if you're Adil here, what is your 10.1.10.108? And you
03.
03? Okay. So this is what you probably name it Adil 01.zmpt.com, right?
Right.
So on. So everybody else is here. So let me put in some numbers. 10.1.10.218. And we have 10.1.10.197. Okay, and we have 10.1.10.190. 10.1.10.64, and so on. Who else okay, let me go ahead and put some numbers in here. 10.1.10.16, 10.1.10.221. Okay, so what is happening here is you have these servers here, and so you are in here. Once you come in here, then you're connecting here. So I could implement a lot of security in here. In fact, this system has a lot of security compared to this system here. So I have to come in here. I could put some monitoring tools in here. From there, you're going on to your own servers. and the last one. Okay, so this is how the net is going to be built around in your thing here. This is what the network looks like. Okay, so here you could implement a lot of security. This host is exposed to internet with a lot of security policies in place. Okay, once you come in, then you are able to get in around the network and do your job. In fact, nobody else could go and connect to your server within in here. So Zafar is trying to get into the server for Adil and he doesn't have access to it. He need to have a user credentials on that server. So if he doesn't, then he won't be able to join it. In fact, whoever is trying to log in, every activity is monitored here. So if you run the last command, what will happen? All the activity is monitored, right? So if I type last on my own server here, for today, system is still logged in. So what I'll do is I'm gonna exit out of here and exit out of here, and I'm gonna go in here and purposely give the wrong. Okay, so it's not. Let me try exiting here and clear the screen. Let me try sudo command and see if it's gonna or let's try it with the wrong name. Okay, SSH. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give the wrong name here. Hacker at. Okay, and I'm gonna put in here permission denied here, right? Now if I go in there and if I do last, okay, so I'm not seeing as a user here. Let me switch to root. Last is not showing. Okay, there is a command, I don't remember it now.
I think when you log back in, it shows you like how many failed attempts before
oh, it did?
logged in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So there are a lot of things are already in place here. On top of that, you could install, more applications to track these things down here. So let's go ahead and stop here and take a good 15-minute break, and then we'll come back, okay?
Okay.
So yeah, there is a way you could track who's logging in and all that. So that's where this system comes in. All right, can one of you confirm me? Could you still hear me? And this box is sometimes referred to as bastion host, jump box, bastion host, jump box, secure host. Okay, so those are the things I think of right now. What I'm gonna do is actually put this up here. Uh-oh. What happened here? Okay, so that's enough of that explanation. I hope everybody got it here, okay? So now let's come back to our topic. So what we did so far is, let me clear this out. And if I do ID terminator, okay, this is the information. This is the information you would have access to. Okay. So now let's exit out of terminator. And then let's exit out of here too. You know what? No, hold on. Go back as root. Go back as root. And do ID terminator again. Now what you have to do is you have to set the password. So PASSWD terminator and set the password very easy, like 1 2 3 4 5. You know what, hold on, set the password red hat, so that you will remember throughout the password is red hat. Okay, now exit out of there, exit out, and you are back into the host, right?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, so go back all the way back. And if you type host name, you would have master01 at ZMPT. So you're back again. Now what you have to type is so here you cannot connect as Zafar here. So what you have to do is you have to give the name. Terminator at 10.1.10.17. What it will do is it will in fact ask you for, it's going to exchange the keys again because we are connecting to a different user. Okay? Oh, maybe not. Oh, my bad. And just type the password Red Hat. So who am I? I'm Terminator, and then I'm connected using so right now there are two users connecting to the system here. One is a Terminator, the other one is the root user. So everybody let me know when you're connected there. Can you go on mute, please?
I am connected.
As Terminator, right?
Yes.
Good.
For me, it says permission denied.
Okay. Did you set the simple password or a tougher password?
For the user, I didn't do anything. Did I miss something? I just
run this command here. Go back in there as go back however you want to go to the RL01 and
Okay,
type
give me
password Terminator and then set the password.
Okay, give me 1 second.
You did create the ID though, right?
Yeah, I did.
The good method is before you set the password, type ID and the name of the user. So here, type ID Terminator. Make sure the ID is there on that server.
When I type in the password Red Hat, it says bad password.
Okay.
No password.
Yeah, I'm coming there. But what is the user you logged in as?
Logged in as my first server.
Yeah, what is the user you are logged in as?
My host name?
No, type who am I? Who am I and tell me the name.
Sorry, I got stuck.
You should be logged in as root though, into your own.
Yeah, I'm logged in as root.
Okay, if it's not working, so go ahead and set the password again. PASSWD Terminator. PASSWD space Terminator. And hit enter. Then give it a simple password.
Okay.
It might just the password may not have matched.
But I named a different name. Does that matter?
It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, use that name. Instead of Terminator, you're using something else, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so give the password to that user.
So there are two users in this server, right?
Yup, very good. Who's that? So on this server, you could do ID Zafar and you do ID Terminator. ID root. There's root user also. Look at the root user. He is 0. His user ID is 0. Git is 0. And groups he belong to is 0. What do you see different for the user Zafar? And when you do ID your own name, what do you see different in here?
It says the same thing again, bad password. The password is shorter than 8 characters.
Okay, let me connect to your team viewer. What is the IP you are in? Over here, when you look at it, it should say root, right?
Yeah, it does say root.
And at, what is the host name?
Safa?
Okay, that's good. And do ID whatever the name you created. Is it showing up here like similar to this?
Hold on one second. It's stuck on the retype new passwords, not letting me do.
Okay, do Control C.
Okay. Yeah, now it's showing root at Safa because I named my first server as Safa.
Okay, good. So there, do ID and then whatever the name of the ID you created. See if it's showing up first.
Yeah, I did ID Naba.
Is it showing up?
UID. Yeah, it says UID
Now
is equal to 1000.
now the command for the password is okay. PASSWD. Don't type the full thing. Type the command for the password is to set the password is PA. Let me clear the screen. PASSWD. Not the whole word password. And Terminator. Or whatever the ID you have there. And hit enter. Well,
And when I hit enter, it says changing password for user Naba.
okay, yeah. So go ahead and give the password.
Red Hat?
Yeah, I mean, I just suggested Red Hat, whatever you think is simple enough here, because we're gonna be going in and out of all the other servers later on. So the easier the password is, the better it is, because we're not doing anything on a real system.
Because the error message that I'm getting is bad password. The password is shorter than 8 characters. So Red Hat is not 8 characters.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
But then you guys are not having the issue.
I wonder you're not connected as a user here. So give me TeamViewer.
Okay. You need the user ID and password for that?
Yes.
It's 970
970
443
443
630.
630.
And password is 62
Okay.
AS.
It may not work. You may have to click on update. So click on like you will have like a drop down arrow there, or a down arrow.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and click on it and run it. It should connect really fast.
No versions of team.
Select the latest one, whichever one is like the higher in number. The one I have is 15.2.
says downloading TeamViewer.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no problem. It actually goes fast here, so it shouldn't be that long.
It's almost there.
Yeah.
TeamViewer will close not and install a new version.
Yeah.
So I should close it and the
Yeah.
updates and stuff. Okay, do you need the ID again?
Let me see if I could go without. It says out of date again. Is it mine? Mine is up to date.
It has a new ID now.
Oh, okay. So give me the ID.
970
Mm-hmm.
443
Okay.
630.
What is the version is showing there?
TeamViewer 14.
Oh. Maybe you have to click on 15. Click on help again and then check for new version.
Yeah, it's downloading the new version now.
Well, I'm gonna update myself also here. If I remember it correctly.
One more minute again. It's installing now. It doesn't show any ID or password now.
Okay, give it a moment here.
Okay, it shows now. It's 970
Yeah.
443 630.
Okay. It's connecting. Okay, the password?
B7.
B76.
No, V as in Victor. V as in Victor.
Oh. V76.
P as in Panther.
P.
Number 7.
7.
And E as in Echo.
E. Okay, I'm going in there. Okay, so did it got disconnected? Can you hit enter there?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got disconnected because I was off it for a long time. Okay, let me reconnect it. So what should I do now?
So give your password. Okay, now you're root.
Yeah.
So do ID Naba. It's there, right? So now go ahead and set the password. PASSWD and the name. No, not that. Go give the name NABA
Oh, okay.
and give the password Red Hat. Yeah, go ahead and type it Red Hat again. Okay, it accepted. So what is happening here is the system is warning you that it's like a dictionary password, it's too short. But as a user, as a root user, he could set up any password you want. But if you go back and try to change the password for Terminator or whatever the user is, it won't allow because it has to satisfy the policy of having alphanumeric number or the password. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you're good there.
Thank you.
So now go ahead and exit, get back there, and then from the master, connect using that ID. So how would you do that? Go ahead and come back to master and do SSH and the username. Here I have Terminator. You should put in Naba at the IP address and hit enter, and it will ask you for the password.
From the master server?
Yeah, from the master server. Do exit couple times and you will be back to master server, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, from there type like this, SSH, the username, and then at IP address.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm there.
Okay, now here do ID Zafar, your own ID, and ID Terminator. What is the difference you see in here? It's right in front of you. What is the difference?
My own ID has an extra 10 wheel, something like that?
Yeah, very good. So the group I talked about, right? The group here is the username, the user group ID, but the groups this user belongs to, he belongs to this group, and on the top of that he belongs to a group named wheel. Wheel is the group that has full access. Wheel is the group that has access to the root. Okay, so if somebody belongs to the wheel group, that means he is able to become root. So this is this will give you a root access. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the Terminator to wheel group, and then from there we'll wrap it up for today. We'll catch up tomorrow. So if you do like, try to do sudo as a Terminator, do sudo su and a hyphen, and it will ask you for the password. It says Terminator is not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported because a regular user is trying to become a root, and then if he's not supposed to have access, then that's a big problem. So everything you're doing it as a user or a root or whatever, everything is being monitored. Okay. Okay, so what will happen is this user is not in the sudoers file, which is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give him the access, okay? So to give anybody's any kind of permissions, you have to be root. So from here, instead of exiting, what you could do is you could do su Zafar and give the name, give the password for Zafar. Now from here, then switch to root. Type cd, then do sudo hyphen. Now give the password to Zafar. Now you are root. Okay, that was very quick, so I'm going to wait for everybody to do it. So wherever you are, if you are on a regular user, type su Zafar, su your ID, and hit enter and give the password. Once you become your own ID, then type sudo su hyphen. What will happen now is it will ask you for the password, may or may not ask you for the password. Once you do that, then you will become a root user. Okay, when everybody is a root user, let me know. Okay, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna give the terminator the root access. So how are you gonna do it? You do user mod -a, and capital G means group, and which group you want to assign it to, wheel, and name of the user. Okay, and hit enter, and now do ID terminator. So now the terminator is part of the wheel group. This is the command. Okay, and this is hyphen means add, capital G means group, and hyphen wheel is group name. You could use ID also. You could use like 10 there instead of wheel. Group name.
So anytime we we want to add any user, then we have to go to the root.
Yes, lot of things. Yeah, that's a good good thing. You notice all those things here. That means you have to be root here. All these things just doesn't happen as a regular user. You have to be root. Okay, so now this is a name of the user. and then when you do ID, he got added to the wheel group.